the Real Estate Investing Club. Hope you guys are having a great week, whatever day it is for you, and wherever you are. Usually it is Friday on the podcast, but we're actually doing this on a Wednesday. I know, throwing it up a little bit, but it's going to be a good day because we have Barbara Barnes with us on the podcast from offmarketcommunity.com. As the name suggests, Barbara excels in finding those off-market deals. So all you guys out there who are interested in wholesaling properties, getting those discounted deals off-market, this is the episode to listen to. Barbara, I am super excited to jump into it. Thanks for hopping on.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. I told you before we got on here, we always like to start with stories. We like to hear how people got to where they are. I'm sure you got a good one. So why don't you take us to the beginning of your story and tell us how you got here?
Awesome. I started real estate when I was 25 years old, about 10 years ago. Quit my job when I was 26, 2 daughters at the time. My oldest was 9, my baby was 1. I bought my first house and I had a terrible experience with a real estate agent. I bought a foreclosed property, it needed work, and it was a big deal. So got into this property, somebody stole the copper, they stole the AC unit, and it was terrible. And then I didn't have any heat. I purchased my house literally in the wintertime. So
geez.
all of my coworkers was like, you maybe you should get into real estate. And I was like, I don't know. You just, take people around, show them houses. I thought that's what real estate was. So I was like, you know what? Let me try. So I went and I got my license in literally a few months. And my broker at the time said, Barbara, you can make 6 figures doing this business. Mind you, I'm only making $18 an hour. So I was like, really, me? How could I do that? So he invited me to his real estate investing club meetings, and he piqued my interest because he was like, well, you can make money flipping a contract. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is 10 years ago, by the way. Yeah. So one of the speakers at one of the events, he talked about probate. He was like, I paid off all my debt. I did this, I did that. And I was like, oh, like, I want to do that, right? So he told me how to get the information in probate. And literally, once I started talking to sellers, I did my first deal in 4 months and I made $20,000. And I was just so blessed by that. And then 10 years later, I do the same process. I make more money now, of course, but I love real estate. It's a really great vehicle to create wealth for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the most difficult things and also the most valuable skills that you can have in real estate is getting to those deals that are off market, that are steeply discounted. And it's, as I said, it's one of the hardest things to do. It sounds like you have kind of created a system around it. And you specialize in probate. So let's just hop right into that. Probate is what you like to focus on for generating these leads. First, tell people what probate is, and then tell us why it's so valuable.
Okay. So probate is the legal process that happens when someone passes away, right? It's the legal process, like all of the court stuff. So when someone passes away, they have assets and everything that's involved in their estate, their cell phone, your car, everything that you own is a part of your asset. It's a part of your estate, but we know that the biggest asset that most people have is a house, right? So what happens is with probate specifically, something has to happen with the house. Family members really can't afford the house. Family members are fighting, and something needs to happen.
Just to clarify, this is when someone passes away without a will, and so if they don't specifically designate where their house is going, then it goes into probate.
Even if they have a will, it goes into probate. The only way you can
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can circumvent probate if the property is in a trust. But yes, if you have a will, your will still has to be probated, meaning it still has to go through the court process, right? So when someone passes and they have a will, when they file the probate, the estate, they have to give the will to the courthouse, and the will has to be validated.
Got it. Right? Okay, that makes sense.
The will gives specific instructions, but you still have to go through the court process. And what happens is everything is public, like everything is public records. So when you open up an estate, right, or your probate, right, you inside of the application, you have to talk about the assets, right? The things that person owns, money, stocks, bonds, and in real estate, that's what we're looking for. And the reason why probate is so profitable, right, is because most of these properties were owned for a long period of time. A lot of times people don't keep their property up and they need a lot of work. They need a lot of work. And then it's great for us as investors is because it has a lot of equity. So there's a lot of room in these deals to actually make money.
And generally, they're left to people who don't want the house. Like they're, a parent passes away, a child gets it, and they're like, I actually don't want my mom and dad's house. And so they're not, when people sell their personal homes, they're a little bit more emotionally connected to it. And they want that top dollar, even above top dollar, because they've lived there for so long and they have all these memories. They're like, this is a great house. But if it's not their house, if it's their parents' house, they're, maybe their parent moved, they've been away from this house for a while. They don't have that emotional connection. And so they're more willing to, accept a more reasonable offer, a more market offer for the condition that it's in. Sorry, just jumping in there. I wanted to make that clarification because it's a good one for probate.
Yeah, and what I love about it is, I mean, it's sometimes it's difficult when you're dealing with multiple heirs who don't agree, right? So what
Yeah.
happens is you'll have an heir who wants to keep that house, then you have an heir who wants to sell. But here's the thing: if you want to keep a property, you have to actually pay for the house. You have to have finances. You have to have financial wherewithal. And the truth is, most people don't, especially
Mm.
when you're in a high interest rate market. And then and most people already have their own personal residence. So that means they have their own bills, and then you want to buy this property, and then you got to keep up this property. But what happens
Yeah.
is you actually have to
Property
buy out the
taxes.
estate because it's
Yeah.
not just
Wait, sorry.
yes.
I cut in there. You said you have to buy out the estate. Go more into that because this I actually haven't ever looked into probate. I haven't like focused on those, so I don't know a ton about it. So you're actually teaching me how the process works. So they have to buy out the house that is willed to them. So if
Mhm.
my parents passed and I received their house, I have to buy their house.
Mhm. If it's will to you, then no, right? You don't
Oh,
necessarily have to buy it, but you have to understand too that if it's a mortgage left on the property, you still have to what, pay that mortgage. Just
yeah,
because
yeah.
it's will to you, it's deeded to you, you own it, but you still have to pay that bill, whatever that bill is, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then if you don't have a will, what happens is, let's just say it's four people in an estate, right?
Mm.
And everybody gets a percentage of the estate. It's kind of like a business. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if one person wants to now buy this property, they have to now buy the business in a sense. So if
Mm.
the property is worth 200,000, no, you actually have to pay 200,000 because what happens is the PR has to do what's best for the estate. If they
Mm.
put the property on the market and they get 200, now you want to buy, you still have to do what's best for the estate. And what's best for the estate is garnering the estate the most money.
Right.
Does that make
That makes
sense?
sense. Yep. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in those situations where
Yep.
there are multiple heirs, there's two daughters, three sons, whatever it is, it's, a lot of times getting through that layer of family drama is that's where you can find the deals because nobody wants to put that effort into it. But if you're willing to step into that mess, guide them through the process and come out the other end buying it, that's where, you make your money. So,
Yeah. I've been profitable for a long time doing it, and absolutely, that's just how it goes.
So tell us how, so now we understand what probate is. Tell us, how do you go about finding these deals? I know you said it goes through the court process. How do you find those the filings, all that stuff?
Okay, so that's a great question. So again, guys, I've been doing this for 10 years now. So what happens is every estate that's open is public record. So the first thing you do is go to the county clerk's office and you look up the estate. Most estates, when you look up a case number, it's always some type of acronym, right? So you'll have like 2025 ADM. I'm talking about DC specifically, ADM 0001. So what does that mean? In the year 2025, this is the first case. So what we do is we'll go to that case, we'll open up that case, and we'll look for the real property page to see if that particular estate has real estate attached, right? If it
Mm.
does, we put it on a spreadsheet, right? So I have someone who does my data, my virtual assistant who's been working with me for 9 years, and we perfected it. So we'll go through each case. So the ones that don't have real estate attached, we don't put them on a spreadsheet because why are we calling someone who don't have real estate? We're
You
trying
don't
to
want to buy a
go for the
car.
real estate, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then so that's how we do it. So we compile a spreadsheet, and I'm very organized. So we compile each spreadsheet by month, right?
Mm.
And then
Hmm.
what we'll do is we'll reach out. When we reach out to these sellers, we're not saying, "Hey, we want to buy your house." We just want to see how we can serve you, right?
Mm.
This is where those two hats come into play. me being an investor and me being an agent, because some of these properties are not going to be for investors. Some of these properties are not always tore down. They may want to try to put it on the market and get the best for it. And that's where I make money too. So I never just say, hey, since I can't buy it on the investment side, because the truth is I can't buy every property that I see. But if it's something that I can help the estate garner the most money, I'm here for you in that way. So we go to the county clerk's office website, we research the estate, look for the real property, put it on the spreadsheet, and then reach out to the seller.
And I'm assuming, especially with this more touchy subject, somebody's passed in the family, I'm sure everybody's a little bit emotionally raw. It's probably a more difficult conversation to have, because you're cold calling, you're not texting, you're not out there sending mailers, you're actually talking to the person on the phone. Kind of walk us through that process. How do you go about having these conversations and leading them to the some kind of resolution?
I love that question. It's funny because I used to make the initial cold call. I no longer do it. So my virtual assistant, she's such a sweetheart. She's so sweet. She's very respectful. So she calls on behalf of me, like, hey, I'm Tracy, I'm calling on behalf of my team lead, Barbara. We just want to see if you want to sell, how we can serve you. Right. Most of the times they want to sell. So they'll be like, oh, okay. And she asks for their email. So I'll send out, my email campaign. But then when I call as like the authority, right? Hey, I'm Barbara. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with my assistant. I just wanted to see how we can serve you. I don't know your situation. Then I just kind of go into the situation, but it's not like a hard pressuring call. And I tell them like, hey, I know you don't know me. I understand this may be out the blue. And because a lot of people actually call. A lot of people do probate. And I know you're probably getting 1,000 calls, but I just want to see how we can get the estate the most money. If the property is not in the best condition, we want to see if we can get you a fair offer. And then a lot of times they're very open to hear that.
Yeah. And so you're putting yourself in their shoes. You're showing them that like you're just looking for the best resolution for them. It could be on market. It could be off market. It really doesn't matter. You're just trying to go down that route. And I feel like you're more suited for that conversation because you do have your license. But I will say that even if you don't have a license, if you're just an investor, you're just out there trying to find a deal that you can, do the rehab on. If it doesn't fit that criteria, you can always partner with a broker. At least what I've done in the past is partnering with a broker and just fed them deals for a cut on the back end, just as an idea. So tell me a little bit. You do wholesaling and you do list the properties. Do you buy any properties yourself, or is it all you're just trying to do the transactional side?
So mainly the transactional side, but it really just depends on the deal, right? So I flip property, like I purchased a property for $70,000 and then resold it for $227,000, right? We're not finding that in this market today. That was a few years. Okay. $70,000.
Was that in DC though? Because
Yep,
DC has a really expensive market.
It was.
Wow, that's crazy.
So yes, so it wasn't in DC, but it was in Prince George's County. So you have Washington, D.C., and PG County is literally like 5 minutes away from D.C., right? Or right across the street, depending on what part of PG County. So this was in the Seat Pleasant area, right? So there's a lot of really, really good deals. So the way that I look at it is my average deal size is between 25 and 30,000. If I hit 25 or 30, I'm only on the transactional side. For me to flip a property, it has to be so much spread because the truth is, most rehabbers are losing money. Most people don't know how to price properties. Most people
a lot more can go wrong. Yeah, exactly. You can open that wall and there could be like dry rot or something. Yeah.
When you're flipping a property, it's like almost everything has to go right? So I'm always looking at how to be profitable. What I love about the probate niche is to get this information is free. It takes a little bit of work, but it's free. But it's very profitable because you can actually make a call. I'm not buying leads. I'm not spending thousands of dollars on leads, right? So if I'm making $50,000, $60,000, and all it took me was some time and a few phone calls, I'm good money, right? But when you're starting buying leads, you're doing the PPC, the PPL, all those things, you have to close a deal, right? Because you want to get your money back. But what I love about probate is that you don't necessarily have to get your money back. You just want to get you want to get your time back. You want to get that profit on your time. So yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's why
It definitely.
it's such a good strategy to use, is because the barrier to entry is time, is effort. But that truly is a barrier to entry because not a lot of people want to go through that effort. They don't want to go through the process of getting the listings or getting the filings, figuring out which ones have real estate attached to them, calling them, having that difficult conversation. But it is, it's a barrier to entry, which is always good because it means a lot of people are not going to go for it. But if you're willing to put in the work, you're willing to have those difficult conversations, then you can, there's a lot of opportunity for you. So we are
Yeah, and
running down
about
the.
that conversation.
Yeah, keep going.
Oh, sorry. And I was say about that conversation is right. It seems like it's difficult, but it's really not. What happens is when someone actually files the paperwork, they're ready to do business. They may still be a
Mhm.
little emotional, but a lot of times they're ready to have that business conversation because they're already in a position to have the conversation because they went through the court process. And a
Right.
lot of times, if they can't afford that house, they're going to want to sell that house because they're not going to want to lose the biggest asset, which can make the estate money, which is real estate.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they've already gone through the filing. It's probably been a while since the passing, and so they're ready to make a deal. And that's perfect opportunity for somebody like yourself to step in. So I have looked at the clock. It looks like we are running it down. But before we move on, I always like to hear what the future sounds like for you. So you got big plans. You got big goals for your property or for your business. What are your plans in the future? Tell me a little bit about offmarketcommunity.com. What are you trying to do there?
Yeah, so with offmarketcommunity.com, I just want to teach normal people, whether you're brand new to wholesaling or maybe you're in the, you're a realtor, you're kind of trying to figure out how to make more money, really trying to show you and teach you how to win with having conversations with sellers off market, right? Some people, they make a lot of money on the internet. They run ads, they do all of these things. But if you frame a conversation in a way where someone trusts you, you can make money and you don't have to worry about spending a ton of money on leads, right? Putting all of those marketing dollars out there. Like my marketing dollars it's probably like no more than $10,000 a year, right? And I'm
Oh,
making multiple six figures. So if I can help you make $20,000, $10,000 just on a niche inside of our community, we niche down and we
mm,
go into each niche and we talk about how you can be of service, how you can be of value, whether you choose a probate niche, absentee, pre-foreclosure, whatever niche you choose within the community, like we really go deep into that niche. So that's pretty much what it is just helping more people understand how to actually close deals and be very profitable and not spend a bunch of money on leads.
nice. I love it. Yeah, it is. PPC is one of my favorite things because you just have to turn on the switch and the leads start coming to you. But it is extremely expensive. So is mailers, really expensive. It's great because you send them, leads come your way, but like you got to have the money. I always say, people say that there's ways to do real estate with zero money. I feel like that's almost bullshit. But you are case in point. There are ways. There are good lists out there that you can just call. You just pick up the phone and just make those phone calls. And it's a great way to get in if you don't have a lot of capital behind you, and you can't afford that pay per click of $200 $200 a click. So all right, with that, I am going to push
Yeah.
us into the quick question round. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. It starts with education. It could be any form. It could be a conference you've gone to, a mentorship program you've been a part of, a book you've read, anything. I just need 2 recommendations, one for general life wisdom and then one for real estate.
Okay. That's a good question. General life wisdom. I love listening to Myron Golden. He talks about be, do, have, being the person, doing the things, and having the things. So I just feel
Mm,
like that he's really a great resource. And I feel like you just have to become that person who is trustworthy, right? Who have integrity and who has a good heart and who really, really want to help people.
I
And
like
what was
that.
the second one?
I mean, that could be for both of you. Like, what was the man's name again?
His name is Myron Golden.
Myron.
I
Okay,
really love
cool.
him. He's really great. He's really, really, really great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would
Eh,
say one of the things that I tell my daughters in life is you make your own decisions in life. You may get information from people, but don't ever be stupid. And make your own calculated decisions because at the end of the day, you're responsible for all of the decisions that you make in your life. So just make sure if it doesn't feel good, it's probably not good. Trust yourself. Pray to God for guidance, and if it's not a yes, it's a no. There's no in between.
I like it. Full ownership. Sounds like there is a little bit of a delay between our feeds. So apologize for everybody listening. We'll fix that in post-production. But with that said, I'm going to move us on to the next question. This is for your younger self. Let's go back to the Barbara who was just starting out. I think you said it was almost 10 years ago, I believe you said. So go back to that version of her, look her in the eye, give her one piece of advice moving forward.
Be open to learn from people, and don't take everything so serious. I was a very serious like person. Like don't take everything serious.
Yeah, that's good advice. It's hard when you're younger because everything seems so serious. But when you start to get a few gray hairs, you realize like things go up, things go down. It's okay. Just keep yourself right in the middle and keep moving forward. All right.
Yeah.
Next question is about the U.S. It's a big place. There is a lot of opportunity out there. Give me the single metro you're most excited about investing in today.
I love Prince George's County. Like I do. I love the outskirts of DC because like the rents, like if you're trying to hold something, certain cities within Prince George's County is really, really, really profitable. So I love the Prince George's County area. It's a lot of growth here. I mean, I know now with the government shutdowns, this whole thing about jobs, but PG County is a really, really solid county to invest in and to do really great in.
Yeah, those tertiary markets to major metros are just they're my favorites as well. It's really hard to find good deals, like really good deals inside a big metro like DC, Dallas, Fort Worth, Seattle. If you're looking downtown, it'll be tough to find a good deal. But if you look on those cities, they're just out on the outskirts. That's where the great deals are found. So it makes a lot of sense to me. That leads us to the final question. This is for the listeners. You've given us a lot to think about. I'm sure people want to reach out, get in contact with you. This is a two-parter. Where can they find you? And then what can they expect when they reach out?
You can find me on all social platforms, Barbara J. Barnes. And what you can expect from me is the truth. Like, I'm not the type of person who's going to sugarcoat something. I'm not going to just take your money. If I feel like you're not ready for certain things, if you want to learn from me, I'll be honest with you, right? I'll say, hey, maybe you need to do this, or maybe you need to do that. Maybe you should start at the free stuff first. I'm a very blunt, direct, and honest person. So just expect the truth from me.
Perfect. I love it. And what link you said, was there a specific URL that you want them to go to?
Yes, offmarketcommunity.com. Offmarketcommunity.com.
Perfect. Yeah, I've mentioned that as well. So I will put that link in the show notes. It's really easy to remember. But if you guys want to actually click on the link, just click the little more in the description. It's going to pull down that full description, and in there you can find Barbara's link. All right, that wraps it up. Thank you very much for hopping on the show.
Thank you for having me. You have a great rest of your day.
Absolutely. For everybody who's with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason we do this. So if you guys have any questions, reach out to me, Gabe at therealestateinvestingclub.com. If you guys want to support the show, just leave us a review. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.